Procedure. You will recall from our introductory videos that cases are governed not only by state court rules, which apply everywhere in Washington, but also the local rules, which each county has created. You might also recall that the numbering of those local rules is based on the way that the state rules are numbered. So, since Civil Rule 7 is the rule that permits motions, if you need to make or respond to a motion, you will also need to look at the corresponding local Civil Rule 7. Looking a little closer, this rule tells you everything you need to know about how to format a motion, as well as the procedure for filing it. Again, if you want to make or respond to a motion, you have to become familiar with the contents of this rule. The first thing it tells you is the timeline for filing motions. In fact, this rule tells you quite a bit. For instance, you must serve and file the motion no later than 6 court days before the day you want the judge to consider your motion. Court days are days when the court is in session, basically every day except Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, and you do not count the day that you want the motion heard by the court. So let's say you want the motion to be heard on a Friday. You count backwards 6 days from Thursday. Remember, we don't count the day of the hearing, excluding weekends and holidays. This means that you have to file the motion no later than the previous Thursday. A quick word about hearings. The rules frequently refer to hearings, which means that you go before the judge who will listen to your argument and the argument of your opponent. This is called an oral argument. In reality, most motions will be considered by the judge without oral argument, that is, based on the filed paperwork only. The local rule explains this, and lists exceptions. A non-dispositive motion is one that does not decide the outcome of the entire case. We'll talk a little later about dispositive motions which do decide the outcome. So, if your case falls within any of these categories, a family law case for example, you may be allowed oral argument. If you are served with a motion, the court also tells you when you may file an opposition to the motion. Opposing documents. Any party opposing a motion shall file and serve the original responsive papers in opposition to a motion, serve copies on parties, and deliver working copies to the hearing judge no later than noon 2 court days before the date the motion is to be considered. In our example then, for a hearing date on Friday, the opposition pleadings must be filed and served by 12 noon on Wednesday. And if you want to file a reply to the opposition, in other words, oppose the opposition, you have to do it by noon on the day of the hearing. By the way, strict reply means that you can't make a new argument for the first time in the reply. As you can see, motions have a fast life. Within the space of a little more than a week, you must file the motion, receive the other party's opposition to the motion, and then file a reply to that opposition. Whether you are filing a motion or opposing a motion, you have to move fast. Mark the dates on your calendar.